Welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am Mary, and I am joined today by Donna and April. We got a fantastic show ahead of us. We're going to talk about the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Organization, otherwise known as CSPOA. That's kind of a hard acronym to say. I've been struggling with it. But anyway, I want to welcome to the show Sheriff Richard Mack out of Arizona. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's a thrill to be on with you. I guess I have one question for you. Are you the answer to the view that's on TV?
Exactly.
Yeah, are you the alternative?
We are. In fact, we'll tell you how we got started. Beck TV and the CEO, he decided that, he had enough of this mainstream media. There's absolutely, it's all one-sided. And then he'd hear about The View, and it's like, it was so horrible, and just so, they always just targeted one side. And he said, we need something, the opposite side, something that tells the truth. And so they came up with Ladies of Another View, and we were supposed to watch The View and then come on and then talk about the other side, kind of like the Paul Harvey of The View.
Right.
But we didn't get hazard pay. You couldn't pay us enough to watch it. None of our viewers watched it, so we thought, why should we tell our viewers to watch that when they don't, So here we are. So what we do is we take mainstream media and we tell the truth about what's not being told on mainstream media.
Well, I'll tell the truth about your introduction of me. I am a former sheriff, but the name Sheriff Mack has really stuck, and it's on my books. The author is Sheriff Richard Mack, and my nom de guerre, my nom de plume, is Sheriff Mack. That's what people know me as, and it is stuck. And even though I haven't been a sheriff in 24 years, I was 8 years a sheriff, 20 years in law enforcement, and I think I earned every letter of the title. And I'm one of the very few sheriffs, and the only one in American history to start a lawsuit against the federal government, take it all the way to the Supreme Court, and win. And it is that case that has brought me notoriety, and it's the only reason that you and I are meeting today. And so I would like to tell your competitors on The View, why don't you have me on? Because Whoopi, you don't want to have a former sheriff who beat the Clintons, and then you would have to actually tell the truth on that show about why I beat the Clintons and live to tell about it. So I would love to debate all these left-wing socialists because I don't believe there's any way they can justify their views. And when it stands up to the truth, you find out that socialism and communism are the antithesis of American liberty, and that's what's going on in our country today is literally a communist takeover of America and the destruction of our Constitution.
Wow, and that is so frightening. And I should say that I first met you down at a Freedom Fest in Rapid City. And you do go around the country giving different talks about our freedoms and about what's going on in America. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Supreme Court decision?
Well, like I said, it's really a miraculous case. Like I said, I'm the first sheriff in American history to sue the federal government and win a case at the U.S. Supreme Court. I studied the case over and over, and then I put a little review together of this booklet. It fits in your shirt pocket or your back pocket. I don't care what pocket you put it in. And I'm telling you right now, every single American from the 6th grade on up age should read this booklet. It's the most powerful 10th Amendment decision in the history of our country. It's the only time sheriffs won a case at the United States Supreme Court, and it was against the overreach of the Clinton administration. And it is so miraculous. This case is so miraculous. I couldn't imagine that it would go as far and broad as it did. And the points and principles that Scalia, who wrote the decision, brings out in this decision are just flabbergasting. They're phenomenal. And he does something very different that the Supreme Court hardly ever does. And he doesn't follow any political dogma or agenda. He simply takes us through a history lesson, and he reinforces the Constitution and state sovereignty and local autonomy. And he literally quotes the founding fathers, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and even the Federalist Papers. And that's one of the quotes I want to share with you as we go along. I will not forget that because I already have my book open. So we can quote Federalist 51.
So in a nutshell, though, what was the case about? Just real briefly, so our viewers know what the case is.
Yeah, I guess I should have said that, huh? Well, first of all, it was pursuant to the Brady Bill. And the Brady Bill was the first time in American history where Congress attempted, and in their bill, in their quote law, the Brady Bill, after it was passed, supposedly was law, but I don't call it that. I call it pretended legislation. And that's what the Declaration of Independence called the abusive laws promulgated by the English Parliament and King George III. And so this was the first time they ever passed a law that commandeered the office of sheriff, and that we were ordered by the feds, by Congress, to enforce this for them. And if we failed to comply, we were subject to a year in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. So
holy buckets,
literally, they're not dangling a carrot on the stick grant for money. Usually they just bribe states to go along with them. This time they threatened to arrest us. And I cannot believe that only 6 sheriffs in this country out of 3,100, sheriffs, only 7 of us fought this case. And again, I want to make this clear. I started the entire thing. Sheriff Prince was second. He joined from Montana, and he and I ended up at the U.S. Supreme Court December of 1996, and the decision came out June 27, 1997. And I'll quote you right now what he said when he quoted the Federalist Paper number 51. It says this, hence, a double security arises to the rights of the people. The different governments will control each other. Now, did everybody grab that? The different governments will control each other at the same time that each will be controlled by itself. So if the federal government refuses to control itself and stay within its constitutional parameters, it is the duty of state officials, county, city, and state congressman or the governor, whoever, anyone who works inside Arizona would be required by law, by duty, by sworn oath to oppose what the federal government is doing and make sure that we put them back in their proper lane of traffic.